What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got the best Nintendo Switch and RPG news for you guys, but before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first, and drop a comment below on when you think Nintendo is going to have their next big Nintendo Direct. What month? January, February, March? Let me know in the comment section. I will be looking through. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into the first topic, and we're discussing some more AAA developers, talk about what their plans are going to be for 2023. And a few of these have caught my eye. Now, we're going to start off with a developer that has had some success on Nintendo platforms and the Nintendo Switch, and that is Level-5. Now, you guys all know Level-5. These guys are some of the best, or at least was some of the best in the industry, with Ni no Kuni. Ni no Kuni 1 and Ni no Kuni 2 are both fantastic big RPGs on the Nintendo Switch. They're doing Inazuma 11, which is finally wrapping up development or something like that. So these guys have made some of the best RPGs in the industry, even if you go all the way back to the old school PS2 days with Dark Cloud and everything. So these guys know what they're doing, and it looks like Akihiro Hino, the president of Level-5, is looking to make a huge AAA comeback, or a big comeback, maybe on the Nintendo Switch or systems games in 2023. Now, for the Famitsu column, what's going over the ambitions for what a lot of these developers are going to do. We talked about this already with some previous developers. I want to talk about what Mr. Hino has to say here, because I think this is going to be vital for the company. Level-5 has been quiet for quite some time, but we know that at their best, Level-5 is one of the better RPG developers in the whole industry. So ambitions for 2023. Level-5 will celebrate its 25th anniversary. In 2022, I feel like I personally put my heart and soul into Megaton Musashi, but in 2023, we will announce many new titles. So I hope to make an even bigger impact as a company. I'm going to do my best with the mentality of making our presence known going forward. Now, this is very important what he has to say here, because it's not just one title or a smaller title. He said that there will be announcing many new titles, and they want to make a bigger impact as a company and our presence going forward. Now, obviously they're in Japan. What is dominating in Japan? Well, that's the Nintendo Switch. So I'm pretty sure that their plans, or at least partially, or some, or maybe a lot of it, does include the Nintendo Switch going forward. And I feel that Level-5 has the ability as a developer. They do Professor Layton as well. They do a lot of stuff. They have the ability, they have the contacts within the industry, and they have the clout to come back in a big way. So what could we see from Level-5? Well, many new titles. They need to wrap up Inazuma 11 and finally get that game out. But I also think that obviously Ni no Kuni, that could be something that they've been working on, or maybe even planning, and they announced in 2023. We've been waiting for a new Ni no Kuni game. Ni no Kuni 2 came out quite a number of years ago. It recently launched on the Nintendo Switch as a port not too long ago. So I think that Ni no Kuni is one of those games that we could see from them on the Nintendo Switch, and of course other platforms as well. Now, also going forward, I think that Yokai Watch. Now, we haven't seen a big Yokai Watch game ever since the epic flop of Yokai Watch 4. The Nintendo Switch and the PS4 title, they changed up too many things, and they had too many Yokai Watch games in a too short of time period. And you combine that with a complete style swap from a turn-based, weird, quirky RPG to a complete action RPG, and cutting down on a lot of the stuff that people loved about Yokai Watch. I think that ended up killing prematurely the hype that Yokai Watch was having. But once again, there was many other factors that caused that. So could we see Yokai Watch come back? They still haven't even officially localized Yokai Watch 4, but I'm guessing that Yokai Watch 4 will not be officially localized by Level-5. Maybe Nintendo steps in. That'd probably be the only company that can step in and help this game. Maybe Nintendo has it for the back half of 2023 to kind of fill out things before they move on to the next Nintendo Switch. But I would love to see a brand new Yokai Watch going back to what Yokai Watch 2 did, and of course make that with nice Switch graphics and kind of play off of what you did there. I think that this is the time. Time is ripe at this point. It'll launch after Pokemon, so you don't have to worry about competing with it head to head. And on top of that, Nintendo supported Yokai Watch 1 and 2 and 3. They supported all those. It wasn't like they saw them as this big competition. Nintendo often even published them here in the West with the Nintendo 3DS games. So I can see maybe Yokai Watch making a big comeback. Maybe they announce something. That franchise still has legs left in it. I think that now that it's been gone for a while, people will appreciate how good it was, especially especially in Japan. Here in America, we never really appreciated how good it was, but in Japan, I think that people would appreciate it, and I feel that it'd be a nice 1-2 punch with Pokemon and also with the Yokai Watch. So I'm hoping going forward what we could see here, we could see some new Ni no Kuni and also some new Yokai Watch, and maybe something else as well. Professor Layton, maybe something else is in the works. So they have many new titles, and apparently they're going to be big when it comes to like the impact that they have. This isn't going to be stuff like Mega 10 Musashi or Megaton Musashi, excuse me. So it's not going to be stuff like that. So this could be pretty interesting going forward in 2023 for a lot of these Japanese developers, but especially Akihiro Hino and Level-5. Now let's go ahead and move on to one more here, and that is Mistwalker with Hironobu Sakaguchi. This is the man himself, the creator of Final Fantasy, and he's pretty much on his way out, but still kind of in there. He wants to make another title, and he's talking about a dark fantasy game. Now, he hasn't announced it yet, but it is a dark fantasy game, and his last game was Fantasian or something like that. It's for like Apple Arcade, Apple devices, or whatever the case is. Like, I haven't played it yet just because Apple stuff, Apple Arcade, but if they ever bring that over to the Nintendo Switch or the PlayStation 4 to the Xbox, I'm all over. I'll even buy it on PC if it's on there, because I heard that it's actually really good. I just haven't got around to getting the whole Apple stuff or getting into that atmosphere. So I'm really hoping that that does come over. It's been a while now, and I don't know if they have an exclusive on that when it comes to Apple Arcade. I know they paid for everything and paid the man to get something like that and to have his name and to use everything. So I'm hoping that one of these days that does come over, but I'm wondering what this dark fantasy will be, and I'm hoping that it's not an Apple Arcade exclusive. We'll see. I feel that Hironobu Sakaguchi is one of those guys that kind of got done dirty by the industry. I feel that a lot of his games have just been left alone after the whole Final Fantasy stuff. You look at something like Lost Odyssey or The Last Story, both of those games are extremely good on the Xbox and also on the Nintendo Wii respectively, and we've gotten no re-releases of those games or remasters outside of Lost Odyssey being released backwards compatible on the Xbox One, Xbox Series, and all that. So it would be great to see Hironobu Sakaguchi have one more thing, because in his note he says that I thought I was going to retire, and he laughed, but I decided to try to give this another go. So he still wants to do it. You know, this guy's been in there for a long time, and I'm hoping that it does turn out to be really good, because his last game was good. It was just stuck in Apple ecosystem hell, in my opinion. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to what Mr. Hino had to say here from Level-5? What are you expecting? And also, what Mr. Sakaguchi had to say here from Mistwalker? Let me know in the comment section below. Moving on to the next topic here, it seems like the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom OLED pictures have leaked online that appeared to be pretty legitimate. Now, you guys are going to be seeing pictures here that have leaked on the internet about a supposed Nintendo Switch OLED for the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, going through these pictures, we can look at this in fine detail and scrutiny, and obviously nothing is confirmed until Nintendo says that it is, but looking through these pictures here, it does look pretty legitimate when it comes to the Joy-Cons and also when it comes to the Switch itself and the dock and the design. It looks like this is actually official, and what I think I like about it is the dock the most. And gold Joy-Cons are always nice to have with Legend of Zelda, almost like the gold cartridge and the golden Wii remote. So having some gold and the green mixed in there is actually a nice little touch, and it will probably grow on me the more that I see it, because now I'm actually thinking about the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Link in that separate outfit with that green and everything. So I think I can see why they put that in there if this is turning out to be legitimate here. And there is a nice close-up on these Joy-Cons that we're getting right now at this point, and it very much looks legitimate. Now, the only thing that people have brought up with this is like, how is this already done when it comes to the packaging and everything? Well, it looks like this or these images are manufactured or put from China, and that's where a lot of the manufacturing is done for this stuff. Plus, you also have this box that was shown off as well, which pretty much shows the official artwork and the OLED. We all know that the OLEDs come in these slim, small, kind of taller boxes now, which are much better, by the way. I do like those quite a bit. So everything does look pretty legitimate, but it's not confirmed at this point, so we have to just make sure that we take it that way. But I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being the Nintendo Switch OLED for Tears of the Kingdom, and it's not a Nintendo Switch Pro, so I guess we can say that as well. There's no Nintendo Switch Pro or any type of new beefier model with specs or anything like that. It's simply a Nintendo Switch OLED based on the box and what's going on here. So it seems like there is going to be a Nintendo Switch OLED for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which many people anticipated would be the case, and obviously we are seeing potentially the images here. It's obviously one of the biggest games Nintendo's ever made, probably one of their most expensive games as well. So yeah, I think they're going to try to capitalize with a Nintendo Switch OLED with it, but we're going to have to wait and see fully for it. But for right now, it does seem like it is a legitimate picture. But what do you guys think when it comes to these supposed leaked images of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch OLED? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. We do have a little bit of an update on the Japanese Famitsu sales. You know, we're gonna have to keep track on this just to make sure how things are going. And the Nintendo Switch had another monster week, and it does seem like the PlayStation 5 is picking up some solid stock there in Japan, so it's very good to see. So the Famitsu sales, guys, it only deals with the Japanese sales numbers, okay? Japanese physical sales numbers. So it doesn't count the eShop, it doesn't count the PSN store, it doesn't count the Xbox, whatever the case is when it comes to digital sales. It's not all there, it's just physical. So a lot of the time, you're not gonna see the Xbox sales physical or anything like that. What you're gonna see is a lot of Nintendo Switch titles, and every now and then some PlayStation 4, some PlayStation 5 titles. But really what this comes down to, what really dominates the headlines this week, is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and how this game continues to have monster sales numbers now going on a month plus after it launched. The game has sold over 4.3 million, and to be exact, it sold 4,338,931 units in Japan, estimated by Famitsu, and it's not really slowing down. The sales numbers are just getting better and better. Now, there is going to be a natural slowdown after the holiday season, but I see it still being in the top 10 and still just dominating these sales charts. Now, if you look at the top 30, which they do the top 10 and they do the top 30, most of it is Nintendo Switch titles. From what I can see here, I see about 3 PlayStation titles on there, and the rest of it is Nintendo Switch games. So right now the Nintendo Switch is dominating Japan, like it kind of always does, just dominate Japan. I also want to give one more shout out here to the Eternal, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. We know about how Mario Kart does, we know about how Pokemon does, but to see The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, one of the first big game released on the Switch all the way back in 2017, and now 5 years plus later, it's still in the top sales numbers with another 6,269 units for 2.1 million units plus. That is just awesome to see. And when you're talking about hardware sales, the Nintendo Switch also dominated that because they sold 163,556 units, and the PlayStation 5 family of systems sold 68,819 units, while the PS4 got a nice little bump, 3,161 units, and the Xbox Series is not doing too good with 1,109 units. So once again, pretty much a sweep by Nintendo here, and I want to talk about it because there is a little bit of confusion when it comes to what people see and what some people say and the actual sales numbers. And the sales numbers show that Nintendo Switch software and hardware, whether it's here in the US or in Japan or in wherever, it's selling really good. These are really good sales numbers overall, all things considered, and I feel that Nintendo's going to continue this momentum with games like Fire Emblem and also with Kirby, The Legend of Zelda coming out, and Octopath 2 coming out. There's going to be some good first and third party games across the board, so I think that things are still going to be fairly good throughout 2023 until Nintendo kind of gets into these directs and show us some more games and what's happening then, of course, the future with the next Nintendo Switch, whenever that's going to be. So what do you guys think about the Japanese sales here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys, we've got some new information and gameplay footage on Fire Emblem Engage. We're getting a lot of cool stuff with this game, and it's honestly looking like one of the best games of 2023 so far that we do know about. The animations, the gameplay, everything is sweet, and we've got got two characters that I wanted to talk about. One of them looks like Sakura from Naruto, and I'm gonna go over here first. And her name is Lapis, and she is a royal soldier of Brodia and Alchrist retainer. She is friendly and kind. She has trained to hunt for survival. While she looks meek, she is stronger than average. And yeah, she has like a big sword and everything. And I love the character designs in this game. They look fantastic. The animations, once again, are solid, top notch when it comes to Fire Emblem. This is easily the best presentation that a Fire Emblem game has had in ever. So I'm very excited about that. And showing off these new characters and their moves and kind of who they are is giving us a little bit of an idea of what we can expect in Fire Emblem Engage, and especially discerning the difference between Fire Emblem Three Houses and also this game. Whereas Three Houses, a lot of the marketing revolved around these three different sides. What are you going to pick? This war that's going on. It was a very interesting and unique type of thing that they did for the game and the marketing cycle, where this is going back to the old school Fire Emblem style of a singular story, usually some type of dragon or some type of god or some type of thing that you have to fight against in a singular pointed story, and then you kind of go from there. This is going to be more of a set thing, taking certain aspects from Three Houses and also adding in other mechanics and different things from previous games, especially Fire Emblem Awakening. So I love what they're doing here overall. Now there's also another character here that looks very cool, and I really like what's going on with her design, and that is Penette, and she is a royal warrior of Solm. While she speaks politely and acts elegantly, she used to be much wilder, and vestiges of her past resurfaced during battle. Oh, goodness gracious. I think that we've all maybe experienced that every now and then. So this is pretty awesome to see these characters being shown off. I do like her style when it comes to the combat and everything. And once again, the character design is looking absolutely phenomenal with what they're doing. A lot of influences from different parts of the world. I love with like the Day of the Dead type of look when it comes to like the Mexican style with her. So that's awesome. I love that. They have all different types of characters in here. It's very diverse with the cast so far from what we've seen. So Fire Emblem Engage is looking like it's going to be the full package when it comes to a new, really direct Fire Emblem game to really get Fire Emblem fans excited and give them something after the awesome Three Houses a number of years ago. I feel that Intelligent Systems, despite Fire Emblem still being like what, 20, 30 years plus old at this point, are going on that, they're still finding new ways to delight and entertain us and bring about new ideas, and this gameplay footage is no exception to that. It's looking absolutely awesome. So what do you guys think about everything that we discussed here when it comes to the Japanese creators' ambitions and also the Famitsu sales plus more Fire Emblem Engage? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.